is that?
Yes. John Wick serving cornflakes.
Widely considered a cure for many diseases. The
Hunger?
creator of this delicious dish.
You must eat this 3 times a day. It's food.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. Occasionally we like to take a little bit of a break. Not exactly a break, we just like to look at different random things.
And we found another random thing to look at.
Anyway, it's 10 foods that were invented for another purpose. Before we get into that though guys, as always, feel free to check out more videos because we have like 200 now, which is crazy to think about. Feel free to subscribe if you're not. I think we have 86% of our audience which is not subscribed.
What?
Or even
You haven't subscribed and you're still watching?
Exactly, freeloaders, you know.
Subscribe.
Also make sure to like this video though if you like us and like this type of content that we are trying to do. And also check out the channel's Discord to interact with other people on the channel. It is also the best absolute place for video recommendations and future content.
Sure.
Now anyway guys, let's get right in this video and check out 10 foods that were invented for something totally different than what they were meant for. Let's get it on.
7-Up. It's a little hard to believe, but the first product we're going to talk about today will celebrate its anniversary in just 9 years. In 1929, it will be 100 years since it was first prepared. The Howdy Corporation, founded by Charles Liper Grigg in 1920, originally specialized in the production of orange-flavored drinks. However, there was already a popular orange soda on the market, so he had to come up with something new to increase sales. Thus, in 1929, Grigg thought of creating a refreshing drink that would taste like lemon and lime. The resulting product was unlike any other drink and quickly gained popularity. However, at that time, almost 100 years ago, it was not called 7-Up, but bib label lithiated lemon lime soda, and it only got its current name by 1936, and it's time you learned about its main secret. The drink.
Okay, so they changed it pretty fast because that was an awful first name. That did not.
That does not
by
flow.
1936, and it's time you learned about its main secret. The drink was wildly popular, not just because of its unusual taste. The fact is that originally, 7-Up contained lithium citrate. Today, this mood stabilizer is used by doctors to treat manic states and bipolar disorder. Previously, there was a popular belief that lithium dissolves uric acid, which causes a huge number of diseases. For this reason, lithium citrate was a popular additive. Well, 7-Up, or rather its predecessor, was sort of a medicinal drink. It wasn't until 1948 that the substance was removed from the beverage, after its use was banned in the US.
Interesting.
Oh, the US finally banned something. It's just amazing how much like legit almost medicine or drugs was put into like food back then.
I'm pretty sure Coca-Cola originally had Coke in it.
As I'm saying that, we do have a ton of chemicals in our food now, but I think it's more for preservatives.
Crackers. The story of how this product was invented is very interesting. Graham crackers are a delicious treat which can be used to make pie crusts, consumed in the original form, or as s'mores with chocolate and marshmallow. Either way, it's a sweet and not very healthy treat. In the past, however, it used to be very different. The Reverend Sylvester Graham was responsible for the creation of the Graham crackers. He was famous for sticking to strict limits in his food. The man, who lived in the early 19th century, believed that in order to stay healthy, people must stop enjoying their food. His diet was vegetarian and consisted mainly of bread made from coarse ground flour. As he preached actively, Graham built up a whole bunch of supporters, and it was for these people that Graham flour and then Graham crackers were invented. Despite the fact that the Reverend himself didn't create the crackers and had nothing to do with their production, the snack still bears his name.
I eat a honey-made Graham from the Bisco.
Since the beginning of mass production in 1898, the recipe has been modified repeatedly, but in our opinion, this is only for the best.
Interesting.
1898? I mean, that's not so long in the scheme of things, but that's for, I don't know, like a mainstream cracker food.
Yeah,
I don't know.
around that long.
I guess not really, like recipes.
I think it's changed quite a bit, obviously, since the original.
I'm not a fan of graham crackers or s'mores, which I know s'mores are more of an American thing, I'm pretty sure. It's interesting to hear like a diet that someone promotes eating wheat.
That is true.
Because nowadays most diets are like anti-wheat.
Cut out the wheat, cut out the gluten.
Cut out the carbs, things like that.
Cut out the sugar. Cut out
but in our opinion, this is only for the best. Coca-Cola. The most
Here
popular
we go.
non-alcoholic drink in the world has more secrets than you think. It is generally believed that Coca-Cola was created on May the 8th, 1886. However, this is only true if we're talking about the classic version of the drink. In fact, Coke's history started even earlier, around 1863. It was then that the French alchemist Angelo Mariani developed the recipe for coca wine. This alcoholic beverage was created from coca leaves and was extremely popular. Even famous personalities such as Jules Verne,
Those old
Alexander
commercials.
Dumas, and Sir Arthur Conan
Jules
Doyle
Verne?
were fond of it. At the same time, there was a pharmacist named
wow.
John Stith Pemberton who lived in America. He was involved in the Civil War, during which he became a morphine addict. In an attempt to find a cure for it, he came across information about coca wine. Pemberton came up with the idea of creating his own version of the magic beverage, and that's how Pemberton's French wine coca appeared. The product was marketed as a cure-all for many diseases: nervous disorders, physical and mental exhaustion, constipation, headaches, nervous breakdown, impotence, and of course, morphine addiction. It was miraculous.
Impotence?
Soon, however, the recipe had to be changed. The temperaments movement in 1886 led to the appearance of a non-alcoholic version. However, before becoming the drink that we all know and love, Coca-Cola went through a lot of transformations. After all, it was originally patented as a cure for nerve disorders.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Again, like Coca-Cola had cocaine, like very, very tiny trace amounts, and at the time probably.
But originally it was an alcoholic beverage, a wine.
I didn't know that, and I didn't know it was made by a
Cornflakes.
Frenchman.
Oddly enough, this simple and delicious breakfast is related to Reverend Graham, the one we mentioned before. Cornflakes were distributed under the brand Kellogg's Cornflakes and marketed as part of Graham's diet. According to the creators' beliefs, they had the ability to reduce indigestion and even fix morally destructive behavior.
Is that
Yes.
Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
Oh my
They
word.
had the ability
Is
to
it?
reduce indigestion and even fix morally destructive.
It looks like
That's gotta be him. We both thought that. Wow, he looks like he's.
Give me a sec. I gotta look this up. That's crazy.
He looks like he's 15. He's probably not, but yes, it is.
Yep, that looks
Wow.
about right.
That is crazy.
I guess he's famous enough
They
for
had
us
the
to
ability
recognize
to
him that
reduce
fast.
indigestion and even fix morally
John Wick
destructive
serving
behavior.
cornflakes.
How far
He's about
come?
to. He's about to murder those cornflakes.
And
Oh my
even
gosh.
fix morally destructive behavior. It all started in the late 19th century.
Oh, it didn't work for
Graham's
him then.
vegetarian movement was taking over the country, and his followers were actively experimenting with different kinds of grains. The idea was straightforward then, creating new, more affordable and cheaper food that would be aligned with the Reverend's commandments. Cornflakes, however, were not the result of trial and error. To be honest, it was a completely accidental invention. On May the 31st, 1895, John Harvey Kellogg and his younger brother Will Keith Kellogg were working with wheat. The men boiled the grains, left them to cool, and went to the health resort where they worked as caretakers. When the men returned, they found that the wheat had turned hard. Since the brothers didn't have much money, they didn't throw it away. The men rolled it out, hoping to get some kind of dough sheet. To their greatest surprise, the result was some delicate flakes. The brothers then toasted them, fed their patients, and very soon the new dish became popular in the sanitarium. After experimenting with other grains, the Kellogg brothers eventually realized that corn was the best option. In 1907, the product was introduced to the general public. However, in order to make cornflakes appeal to everyone, they decided to sweeten them, and that's how the popular breakfast came into being.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Dr.
I haven't had cornflakes in forever.
Cornflakes are really. I did like cornflakes growing up, and it's one of those things, like, especially the frosted cornflakes.
Oh, well, of course.
But it is one of those things, like, there's a lot of sugar in it, but like when it's one of those, like, you get to the bottom of the box and then it's just like
sugar?
pure sugar.
Your favorite part, I'm sure.
Dr.
It
Pepper.
used to be, yeah.
This is the third soda on our list, but what can we do if many popular drinks were originally created not only to quench your thirst? Despite the fact that Coca-Cola is still one of the most popular drinks in the world, Dr. Pepper appeared at about the same time. By the way, the protagonist of this story is also a pharmacist, Charles Alderton, a resident of Waco, Texas. When he invented his drink in 1885, he decided to sell it in pharmacies as a medicine. He made some very serious medical claims in the very first adverts. According to him, Dr. Pepper could improve digestion, give you strength, make people more energetic and active. It sounded like a nice
Oh my
tonic
word.
drink. Nothing of it was true, of course. However, because of the large amount of sugar in the drink, people did feel a small rush of energy. Salisbury
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think I did know that. I heard that it was created by a
A natural
pharmacist.
doctor, kind of.
It's interesting though. So many things like medicines and drugs and stuff. They were advertised in such weird, like flat outlandish.
It's like, this is good for
claims.
you.
Well, they had like I know they're for like back in the 1849s with the California Gold Rush. They had supposedly some kind of oil that you'd rub on your body. And it was advertised that if you roll down a hill, gold and only gold would stick to you.
Oh my
Yes, it was a
gosh.
legit advertisement. There was so many things like that, though.
Sounds like a swindler peddler type.
Oh, for sure. It's just
Yeah.
the old advert is just crazy. And then just watching these old ads is
It makes me want to watch some old
Salisbury
ads.
steak. If you come across a Salisbury steak in the supermarket, you should know that once upon a time it was widely considered a cure for many diseases. The creator of this delicious dish is believed to be American physician
Hunger?
James Salisbury. During the US Civil War, he worked as a military doctor. That's when he found out that diarrhea, which affected soldiers on a massive scale, could be stopped with a special diet. Coffee, lean chopped
I've
beef
heard
steak,
that.
and nothing else. A little later, he became fond of healthy foods and strict diets, but his idea of healthy was very peculiar. Salisbury believed that people are predators, and that's why we have fangs. The doctor also believed that vegetables and food containing starch were the cause of most diseases, and that's how he got the idea for a Salisbury steak. It's minced beef seasoned with onions and spices. The resulting steak is roasted or boiled and served with brown sauce. Since 1888, Salisbury has actively promoted this dish as a
Gravy.
path to health and longevity. He suggested eating it 3 times a day with plenty of water to cleanse the digestive system.
Wow. That's a marketing technique.
and I just eat it 3 times a day.
Yes, you must eat this 3 times a day. It's food.
I don't know if I doubt there's probably that many health benefits to Salisbury
Most of
steak
those
itself.
nowadays are microwavable.
TV
And-
dinners, yeah.
Yeah, and they're not.
No, you can get them, but you
They're super
can buy
preserved,
just Salisbury steak. The thing is, it's like eating red meat 3 times a day is really
3
not that
times
good
a
for you.
day with plenty of water to cleanse the digestive system. Goo Goo clusters. There was a
I've never heard
terrible
of these.
period in US history known as the Great Depression. In 1929, the stock market collapsed, which led to an economic crisis. And so, like dominoes, one after another, the consequences began to affect companies and then ordinary people. The unemployment rate jumped from 3 to 25%. Another disaster was a drought that destroyed many crops all over the country. People who had jobs
The
were
Dust Bowl.
considered lucky, but even they didn't always have enough money to feed themselves. Why are we telling you all this though? Well, because Goo Goo Cluster cookies are an important part of this story. In the 20s and 30s, they only cost a nickel and were actively promoted as a nutritious, high-calorie lunch. Since the working class was constantly undernourished, Goo Goo Cluster were indeed very valuable. These treats were delicious and relatively inexpensive. Chewing
I've never heard of them. They look pretty tasty though.
Yeah.
I don't really have an opinion on them because I've never tried one.
These
Right.
treats were
They're like a
delicious and
caramel
relatively inexpensive. Chewing gum.
Biscuit.
Up to the 1760s, people actively used various resins as gum, but we wanted to talk about the chewing gum we consume today. It all started when Mexican General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna fled to New York, taking a large number of chicle with him. Chicle is a natural gum harvested from Mesoamerican trees. The general sold the chicle to New York inventor Thomas Adams. He tried to use it to create a replacement for rubber, but none of his attempts were successful. Then Adams remembered the general's habit of chewing chicle and tried to make a chewing gum out of it. The first batch of chewing gum was sent to the stores in 1871 and surprisingly sold out almost
Wow.
immediately. Thomas Adams continued manufacturing it, learned how to add flavors, and so gradually his chewing gum conquered the world. Brandy.
Didn't even have flavor
The
in the
history
beginning?
of this strong drink is closely linked to the history of wine. The fact is that in the 17th century, merchants didn't transport wine in the most usual way. Before transportation, excess water was removed from the drink. Needless to say, it reduced in volume. This was a great idea because, first of all, it was easier to transport it, and secondly, trade taxes were reduced. It was very easy to return the wine to its original state. You just had to add the same amount of water. Traders did this for quite quite a long time, until at one moment something went wrong, so to say. Someone drank the concentrated wine and realized that after being stored in a wooden barrel, it tasted much better than wine. That's basically how brandy was created. Since then, grape wine has been distilled not for transportation, but to produce this spirit. However, brandy has another chapter in its story as well. It was first produced in France in 1313. However, it was used exclusively as a cure. Doctors called it the water of life.
Huh.
Did you hear how old that was?
How old?
It was in 1313. I'm pretty sure is what I heard. That's
produced
crazy.
in France in 1313. However, it was used exclusively as a cure. Doctors called it the water of life. Cheese puffs.
Of course.
The last product we're going to...
Wow.
Okay, I just want to say real fast. I want to know where they got the freaking little Cheeto. I guess it's a cheetah. I get the cheetah thing.
Yeah.
I just want to see what. I want to know why they gave him such a huge freaking head. And his neck's like that
It's a
big.
cartoon. That's how cartoons are
The
made.
last product we're going to talk about today is cheese puffs. Turns out they also appeared by accident. Strange as it may seem, it all started at an animal feed factory in the 1930s. Corn kernels were actively ground and flaked here using large industrial machines. One day, Edward Wilson noticed something strange. The waste corn powder blew up from the heat, turning into unusual puffs. After some experiments, he managed to create a snack, and it wasn't actually that hard. He only had to add spices.
It's not easy being cheesy.
Well, that was interesting. Learned a few things.
I like those type of videos that are just random, but you learn something.
Yeah.
Come away with knowledge.
Your Mind is My Warehouse is a very good channel, I think.
Yes, a shout out to them. Grant, they don't really need a shout out being a huge channel, but they were an informative channel.
Yes.
And we like those type of videos. So hopefully you liked it too. Comment down below if you learned anything new or interesting.
I know we did.
I think a lot of those foods were more U.S.
Yeah, I think
generated, but they do have a lot of that stuff over there.
Well,
so.
from what I understand, the U.S. actually generates a lot of new foods.
Really?
I think so. Like, we seem to get the trends a little bit sooner.
I don't know about that.
That's something I've heard. I don't know.
Anyway, guys, that's the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Always comment down below for future recommendations, or go check out that channel's Discord and send me some links out that way. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.